there! If you have a business analyst interview coming up shortly and they have asked BA with Python skills, then this is the video for you. This is the first chapter in the Python interview question video series. We have researched and compiled the top 20 commonly asked questions on Python basics. Subscribe and click on the bell icon so that you would be notified when new videos in the series get released. Let's get started. You can execute the code shown in the slides using the Jupyter Notebook. Link has been provided in the description below. Question number 1. Is Python an interpreted language or a compiled language? Python is an interpreted language. Python is different from major compiled languages such as C and C++. Python compiler primarily converts the source file into a bytecode for the Python virtual machine. The interpreter for Python is CPython, which is the most commonly used one. Question number 2. What is variable assignment in Python? To assign a variable means to symbolically associate a specific piece of information with a name. In Python, variables need not be declared or defined in advance. To create a variable, one just needs to assign it a value. In the Python code above, A is assigned the value 5 and then add operation is carried out, which gave the result as 10. In addition to this, on the basis of value A, values of B and C are computed, which come out as 100 and 1 respectively. Question number 3. What is error and exception handling in Python? When a Python program meets an error, it stops the execution of the rest of the program. An error in Python might be either an error in the syntax of an expression or a Python exception. In the example above, without exception handling, block 1, there is no try and except code. That is, no exception handling except the code throws an error if it finds an exception. With exception handling, an exception in Python is an incident that happens while executing a program that causes the regular course of program's commands to be disrupted. Block 2. The try and catch blocks are created, wherein whenever an error occurs in addition, an exception is thrown which says, "Hey, it looks like you are not adding correctly." Question number 4. What is the difference between list and tuple in Python? Lists are ordered sequences in Python that can hold a variety of object types, while tuples are very similar to lists, with one key difference: immutability. Once element is inside a tuple, it cannot be reassigned. In the Python code shown above, the orange box shows the formation of the list named list_in, which contains 18, 12, 28, 16, 22, 29, 23, 26. And it is changeable or mutable, as when list_in of 1 is reassigned the value 10, it gets accepted, while the red box shows the formation of the tuple named tup containing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and when tup of 1 is reassigned the value 6, it shows an error. Hence, tuples are immutable in nature, while lists are mutable. Question number 5. What does list comprehensions mean in Python? List comprehension in Python is a concise way of creating lists from the ones that already exist. It provides a shorter syntax to create new lists from existing lists and their values. In the Python code examples shown above, myList is created using for loop. myList1 is created again using for loop on myString. myList2 is created using for loop in Word. Question number 6. What is the difference between string indexing and string slicing in Python? String indexing is used to obtain individual elements, while string slicing is used to obtain a sequence of elements. In the Python code examples shown above, string indexing, indexes in strings start with 0. So name of 1 would give output as A. String manipulation and string slicing. Colon indicates all the letters after this, which is AM. Plus, this simply adds to the last letters extracted in the previous step and hence output will be PAM. Here as well, plus adds up 2 strings and hence the output would be the string Hello world, it is beautiful outside. Question number 7. What is dictionary in Python? Dictionary in Python is a collection of key value pairs used to store data values like a map, which unlike other data types will hold only a single value as an element. In the Python code example shown above, myDict is the dictionary formed with the keys and values as key 1 is to value 1 and key 2 is to value 2. myDict of key 1 gives the output of the value which is value 1. Prices lookup gives the key and values the dictionary, that is apple as 2.99, oranges as 1.99, milk as 5.8. Prices lookup of oranges is the key which gives the value in the output as 1.99 as per the dictionary formed in the previous step. Question number 8. What are common built-in data types in Python? Strings are sequences of characters using the syntax of either single quote or double quotes. Sets are ordered collections of unique elements, that is, there can be only one representative of the same object. Booleans are operators that allow analysts to convey true or false statements. These are very important when analyst needs to deal with control flow and logic. In the Python code examples shown above, first one sets, my set is created. Value 1 is added to the set and hence the output is 1. Another value 2 is added to the set and hence the output now becomes 1 and 2. Next, strings. Strings can be created using single quotes, hello. Strings can be created using double quotes, world. \t can be used to create space between two words in a string and print is being used to finally print the string hello world. Next one, booleans. False is a boolean which gives output as false. Type of false is checked and the output comes out to be bool. Expression 1 greater than 2 gives the output as false. Question number 9. What is the difference between for loop and while loop in Python? A for loop is used for iterating over a sequence, that is either a list, a tuple, a dictionary, a string or a set. A while loop is based on some condition until that remains true, continues to run. For example, while my pool is not full, keep filling my pool with water. Or while my dogs are still hungry, keep feeding my dogs. In the Python code examples shown above, for loop iterates over a list, my list, and prints all the values which are there in that list. Next, while. The x variable is assigned the value as 0. The while loop starts on the condition x lesser than 2, which is true, and it keeps on printing the values of x till the time while condition becomes false, that is x equal to or greater than 2. The else block is also used along with the while. The while loop starts on the condition x less than 2 and it keeps on printing the values of x till the time while condition holds true and enters else block as soon as while condition becomes false. Question number 10. What are functions in Python? Functions are blocks of code that can be easily executed many times without needing to constantly rewrite the entire block of code. It is a block of code which only runs when it is called. Data analyst can pass data known as parameters in a function. In the Python code examples shown above, The function sayHello is a non-parameterized function, and once called, it prints the output as hello are you. The function addNum is a parameterized function, and the two numbers 5, 6 are passed as parameters, and hence the result 11 appeared as the output. Question number 11. What are methods in Python? Method is a function that belongs to an object. It is similar to a function except it is associated with object or classes. The purpose of methods is to set or get details about instances or objects, and that is why are known as instance methods as well. In the Python code examples shown above, the method append is used to add the value 4 to my list. Hence the output for my list is 1, 2, 3, 4. The method pop is used, which picks up the last value in the list. Hence the output is 4. The count is used to count the number of times a specific value has occurred in the given list. 1 is just used once. Hence the output is 1. Question number 12. What are comparison operators in Python? Comparison operators, also known as relational operators in Python, compare the values on either side of them and returns a Boolean value. In the Python code examples shown above, exclamatory equal to is not equal to sign and 4 is not equal to 5. Hence the output is true. Greater than sign and 2 is greater than 1. Hence the output is true. Less than sign. 2 is greater than 1. Hence output is false. Equal to sign and 2 equals to 2. Hence the output is true. Greater than equal to sign. 4 is greater than or equal to 3. Hence the output is true. Question number 13. What is init in Python? Init is a constructor, and constructors are used for initializing the object's state. In the Python code examples shown above, the class named student uses the init function to assign values to name and marks. As init is a constructor in Python, it is called automatically every time the class is being used to create a new object. S1 is the instance or object created for the class student, and init allocates memory for S1. The instance S1 assigns name and marks whenever this class student is called. Similarly, another instance S2 can also be created, and some other or different values for name and marks can be assigned. Question number 14. What is type conversion in Python? Type conversion is the process of converting a data type into another data type. There are two types of type conversions in Python, implicit and explicit. Implicit type conversion is performed by a Python interpreter only. Explicit type conversion is performed by the user by explicitly using type conversion functions in the program code, as shown in the box 2 above. In the Python code examples shown above, the two codes written here shows the type of data, like 12 is of type int and 12.5 is of type float. The code in this block shows the conversion of string to list. Question number 15. What is lambda in Python? The lambda function is anonymous. It means that these functions are without any name. Also, unlike normal functions, the parameters in lambda function are not surrounded by parentheses. Rather, they are separated by comma. The syntax for lambda function is lambda arguments : expression. In the Python code examples shown above, anonymous functions are defined using lambda keyword. The lambda function is defined to calculate the square of a number. Also, as we can see above, both regular function of def square and lambda function square equal to lambda x : x asterisk asterisk 2 behave the same way as intended, but there are differences. With lambda function, This supports the single line statements that returns some value. It is good for performing short operations or data manipulations. Using lambda function can reduce the readability of the code. Without lambda function or regular function, this supports any number of lines inside a function block. This works fine for any cases that requires multiple lines of code. This can use comments and function descriptions for easy readability. Question number 16. What is the importance of indentation in Python? In other programming languages, the indentation in code is for readability only. The indentation in Python is very important as it uses indentation to indicate a block of code. Also, without properly indenting the Python code, analyst will end up seeing indentation error and the code will not get compiled. It is a way of telling a Python interpreter that the group of statements belong to a particular block of code. A block is a combination of all these statements. Block can be regarded as the grouping of statements for a specific purpose. In the Python code examples shown above, the first code would run fine as code indentation is fine, while the second code would throw an error as the indentation used is not correct. The complete block needs to be taken under consideration at one go. Question number 17. What are docstrings in Python? A Python docstring is a string used to document a Python module, class, function or a method, so programmers can understand what it does without having to read the details of the implementation. Also, it is a common practice to generate online or HTML documentation automatically from docstrings. In the Python code examples shown above, the explanation of every line of code is written with hash. It is done for better understanding of the code so that whosoever goes through the Python code understands it well. Question number 18. What are local and global variables in Python? Local variables are created when the function starts its execution and are lost when the function ends. Global variables, on the other hand, are created as the execution of the program begins and are lost when the program is ended. In contrast to global variables, local variables do not offer data sharing. In the Python code examples shown above, global variable I am a global variable is declared outside the function check lifetime function, while local variable this is local variable is declared inside the function check lifetime function. Both the variables are getting printed when called inside the function, but when called outside the function, only global variable got printed while local variable threw an error. This clearly reflects the difference between the scope of variables global and local. Question number 19. What is the difference between print and return in Python? Return is a keyword. When a return statement is reached, Python will stop the execution of the current function, sending a value out to where the function was called. Use return when analyst wants to send a value from one point in the code to another, while use print when analyst wants to show a value. In the Python code examples shown above, a function factorial is defined, wherein the variable fact is assigned the value 1, and as it is parameterized function, it is called by giving the num variable value as 3. Now, as seen in the code above, it is returning the values as per the condition given in while loop 3, 2 and 1, and then printing it in the end, that is factorial of 3 is 6. This clearly explains the difference between print and return. Question number 20. What are popular libraries and their uses in Python? Python is an ocean of libraries that serve various purposes, and listed here are some key ones. NumPy. It is a Python library that makes complex mathematical implementations very simple. It is very interactive and easy to use. Pandas. One of the great features of this library is the ability to translate complex operations with data using one or two commands. Pandas have so many inbuilt methods for grouping, combining data and filtering, as well as time series functionality. Seaborn. Seaborn is a Python data visualization library based on Matplotlib. It provides a high-level interface for drawing attractive and informative statistical graphics. Scikit-learn. It is a Python library associated with NumPy and SciPy. It is considered as one of the best libraries for working with complex data. SciPy is a machine learning library for application developers and engineers. SciPy library contains modules for optimization, linear algebra, integration, and statistics.